This video intended for educational purposes. Hey guys, it's Adam aka Swimming Bird, and welcome back for another Minecraft Snapshot. This is 13W18B for Thursday, May 2nd. The second one released today because A had some bugs in it, but also released today was 1.5.2, which has a few bugs itself, some funny ones that I will get into. So you might want to hold off updating, but I will get into 1.5.2 later in the video. First, let's start with today's snapshot. Now we got a new block, we got some crafting recipes, some terrain changes, lots of cool stuff. So let's start with the new block. It is, you might have guessed, the coal block. We got it from the 2.0 April Fool's joke snapshot. So we've completed our pantheon of material blocks here, at least. I threw quartz in there just because I thought it looked similar enough, even though the ore is like completely different looking, obviously. And then we have our wheat block over here next to it. But yeah, so coal, it's craftable like so, with 9 coal. No charcoal can be used to make coal blocks, unfortunately. I think maybe because it's a renewable resource, this will probably make coal blocks a bit more desirable, since you have to mine actual coal to use it. You can't just burn trees. And coal block can be used as a fuel source. Let me grab one in here, throw it in, and it actually cooks for 72 uses, just like 9 pieces of coal would. So it is equal. You know, you could just condense it, and if you want your furnace to run longer, just use coal block rather than coal, and it will be your way of using fuel if you don't want to use lava or something. But yeah, it's like a nice looking block. It looks just like the redstone block. Everything from 2.0 basically works the same with the coal, except that you can't use charcoal to craft it, and you can throw it in the crafting table and get your coal back, obviously. Now, one thing that's a little different here, we've got the, compared to what I just did, the wheat block, or hay block, sorry, if you throw that in the crafting table right now, it will not break down. And hopefully that changes in the future, but similarly to the coal block, you use 9 wheat to craft your little hay block there. And they look pretty good. They're the same as before, but now you can craft them. And over next to that, we have our lead, and you can actually craft these. Surprisingly, I wouldn't have guessed this recipe. It uses a slime ball. I just picture like a ball of slime with string just like wadded up and all gross with it, but that's how you craft it there. And you can flip it either way, it doesn't matter. You can't do like an upside down one, but you can do it one of these 2 ways, and you get your lead. And there you go, there's another use for slime balls. Now, I wanted to show something before we get into the terrain generation stuff and leave this little area. I wanted to show that comparators, they previously, you probably know that you can hook them up to chests or furnaces, lots of stuff like that to power stuff, but now they work with end stone and cauldrons. Now, there's 3 levels with cauldrons. If it's all the way full, it can go 4 blocks. If it's 1 down, you know, you used 1 bottle, it is 3, and then if you have it almost all the way down, it is just 2 blocks or whatever. Powers through 1 to the second one. Now, I can illustrate this a little better by just taking water out. See, it's only going to the second one there, and then that one, and then none. So that's another way to power stuff or do puzzles based with redstone. And the same works for the portal, except the portal, let me grab something from my tree monster here. There we go. The end portal, it basically is off or 16 blocks. It has a lot more power to it. So you could actually set this up where you could trigger like something to open when somebody turns on the end portal, which is pretty awesome. That will be very useful for adventure maps. Now, horses, a few things with them. You cannot actually, this is Daddy Sunday Paper, I thought that was a good racehorse name. You can't actually get horse armor by crafting it anymore. That is now found in chests, in dungeons and fortresses and all that stuff, and you have to find it there. Now, saddles have been condensed into 1. You just have the normal saddle, but as you can see, the horse saddle is gone. I'm hoping they might change this texture, because the saddle is still darker on the horse. I think that looks more like the leather armor and stuff. It looks a bit better. But yeah, so you use the same saddle that you would for the pigs on the horse. That makes things a bit easier. And saddles can now be found in any type of chest, not just in the dungeon chest. They can be found all over, so they're going to be a lot more frequent to find and easier. So horses, They're also going to be fairly rare. Jeb was saying he wants these to be kind of like a late game incentive, like you're going to have to work towards them and find them. So you can find them spawning in plains, but they will be more rare than most other animals. And name tags, if you didn't see this, you have to use an anvil. I just want to remind people that if you want to name something, you need to put it in an anvil so you can name your horse. Now, speaking of horse loot, there is a new terrain change that I'm going to hop over, and we'll come back here in a sec to talk about some of this other stuff. And I also wanted to illustrate before we go, this is the coal block compared to black wool and obsidian. It's quite different looking. I think it looks the best of the three. Now, not just because it's new, it has a nice texture to it, just like redstone. So yeah, let's head over. I'll push this button, and I've got a portal here to show you a big terrain change in nether fortresses. They now spawn chests in them with loot, which is pretty awesome. So I'm going to fly in here. I found a couple right near the beginning of this fortress when I flew in. They're typically around corners at the end of these hallways. So here's the first one, and you'll get loot like saddles, like I mentioned, and you can get really good stuff like diamond, but also this is how you will find some of the horse armor pretty easy. This one I got really lucky. I got diamond and gold in one chest. I found another one with gold. I forget what's in this chest. This might be the other gold horse armor. No, this is just gold. A lot of gold in here because this is seemingly this is a pigman fortress maybe, and that's where they keep all their gold. But I found 3 in this fortress. Someone else on Reddit found 6 in their fortress, so they're fairly common to spawn in there. But this is another incentive to explore the Nether, because this is going to be one of the ways to get some of our loot, and hopefully stuff like the name tag might spawn in there. I know that was supposed to be a dungeon loot, but when they say dungeon, a lot of the time they mean like stronghold and now fortresses and stuff. And one thing I wanted to note before we head out of here is that pigmen, they now have the same functionality as zombies, where if you hit them, sometimes they will spawn a friend to help them out. I don't know if we're going to get one here because it's fairly rare. We did get a gold bar. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, but instead of spawning zombie pigmen, they spawn zombies. So you can get zombies in the Nether. And if you do this enough, you could get a zombie villager into the Nether, which means you could get villagers into the Nether without having to push them into portals, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, let's head back through the portal. I've got a few more things to cover here before we get into 152. I've got another command block set to teleport me. Let's turn the weather back to clear. So some of the other stuff I wanted to talk about. Hostile mobs. You saw the pigman and the zombie attacked me while I was in creative. That's because the pigmen just kind of aggro like they normally do, and that's you know, par for the course. That's how things normally work in creative. And the zombie, he spawned in, and those always go after you. But if I was to put a creeper here, most mobs now in the new snapshot will not attack you if you are in creative mode, even if you hit them, and just keep hitting them. The only exceptions seem to be the zombie pigmen and the zombies that spawn in from being, you know, hit. The reinforcements, basically. So that's kind of a feature of creative. If you're building and there's a creeper around and you're like, get out of my building, guy, get out of here, and you hit him, you don't have to risk blowing up your building now because he won't attack you if you are in creative mode. Now, the zombie spawning, I mentioned that a second ago with the pigmen, that has been tweaked quite a bit, and I'm going to throw some zombies down here and maybe we'll see some. Now, they don't fall from the sky like they did in the previous snapshot, luckily. And when they burn up in the sun, I don't believe that gives them a chance to spawn another zombie, which is good. It has to be damage from the player. And they should be, hopefully, spawning some more zombies here if I kill them. And then you'll see basically what you saw in the Nether, where a zombie popped up far off and he started to come towards me because he was already aggroed. Now, the way this works is it's not as frequent as in the last snapshot, but they will try to spawn them somewhat away from you. I had one spawn actually right next to me, so it's not perfect. And I think Dinnerbone's idea is that they will try to spawn them in like another part of a cave or around a corner so that you don't see them spawn. It's like they came out, you know, they were natural. It was kind of giving the illusion that a zombie heard you from far away. But the idea behind it is like they hear you fighting and more zombies will come after you. And it works a bit better now. They don't fall out of the sky. They actually spawn at ground level wherever you are. And it works decently. It's not perfect, like I said. Hopefully Dinnerbone will keep tweaking it. And I really hope he adds a bit of functionality where maybe if you kill something with a zombie with a diamond sword, you have a higher chance of getting zombies to spawn, because, you know, if you have a diamond sword, you're doing good at the game, and you probably, you know, could use a bit more extra difficulty. Whereas if you had a wooden sword, or you're dying and you punch it with a block of dirt because you really want to kill it before you fall into lava or something, then it should have maybe a lower chance because you are less prepared at the game, you know. Or they could make it the same, you know, whichever. But I feel like when you get diamond equipment, you're not going to see the zombies as much because you kill them so fast that there's less chance for them to spawn. So hopefully Dinnerbone takes that suggestion and adds that in. So I just did day. We're going to do time set day. Before we get into the snapshot, there's one last thing I have to discuss here. Or not the snapshot, the 152. Carpet can now be placed on certain blocks like glowstone, redstone lamps, and glass, like some of those types of blocks. It still can't be placed on fences, nether fence, ice, leaves, all this stuff, stairs, cobble walls, anvils, chests, all that stuff. But at least we have a few more blocks that we can put stairs on. Hopefully we'll get some stairs that, or carpet, sorry. Hopefully we'll get some carpet that wraps around the stairs. That would be really cool. Now, oh yeah, one other thing here is texture packs. They actually run a bit better now, and you can see if I go into, we'll just do Chroma Hills. This is a very nice looking texture pack, even though it's not complete. It has kind of a RPG-ish look to it. It actually, the way that it loads in is a bit different in the snapshot, and it seems to run a bit better. They said it's a bit buggy, but hopefully we'll see more on that in the future. And another thing with here, the dirt in the menu you can see is a little bit blurry. I don't know why they did that. They kind of blurred the background dirt. And a bug fix I really wanted to comment on, the lava. Now, a lot of people just kind of, I think we assumed that if you placed lava down, it was just meant to, you know, flow out, and then if you got rid of the lava, it would just stay there and linger. And a lot of people were just assuming the lava was supposed to linger for a really long time, but it actually isn't. It lingers a bit longer than water. You'll see water goes away very quickly, but the lava isn't meant to stay, and as you can see, it has basically gone away very quickly. There you go, it's all gone. Typically in the older, you know, in 151 and 152, the lava will stay a lot longer and linger around, but that is actually a bug, so that's going to save a lot of people from death now that that's been fixed in the 1.6 update. Some other bug fixes, when you're curing a zombie villager, sometimes they would despawn, but that won't happen anymore. Dogs will not just randomly growl after somebody hits them and they're not mad at them anymore. That was a big bug. You would hear your wolves growling at people that weren't even there anymore. That was kind of annoying. So yeah, and mobs killing you and like attacking empty space after they've killed you, stuff like that. Blocks updating and stuff like that, and being able to pick command blocks with a pickaxe. So let's get into 152 here finally. Now I've got a little video I want to show. 152, I would hold off on updating your Minecraft because 152 is quite a bit buggy, at least on the server that I play on. A lot of the players were experiencing animals spawning everywhere to the point where it lagged the server so much that it crashed. And here's a little video. I was kind of walking around looking, and then I went over to one of my friends, and his area was just covered in animals. The server froze. They all kind of looked off in one direction. I was wondering what the heck they were looking at. Maybe something, if you look hard enough, you can see. But anyways, the server crashed because of all the animals, and that's not a big or good thing. So, and also a lot of servers might not have even updated to 152 yet. So I would hold off if you can and wait. If you have the old Snapshot launcher, you can still play 151 because I believe it is in the logs for that. And speaking of which, Dinnerbone's going to make it where, with the new launcher, you'll be able to play every previous version of Minecraft from the past, like dating all the way back to Alpha, I believe. So you can play very old versions of the game very easily. It will download it for you and put it on there. And a lot easier than it would have been to try to look up older versions of the game. And this will help especially if you accidentally update and you find that the server you're playing on hasn't updated. This will save you from having to wait to play on there or search down, you know, trying to download an old jar or something, or using the Wayback thing or whatever. You know, there's different ways that people do it. So yeah, some of the 152 fixes, FPS issue. They said there's FPS issues with high-res texture packs in the past, but they've solved a lot of those with 1.5.2. And to my experience, I used Chroma Hills, which is 128 by 128, and that actually ran pretty well. I was getting like 300 frames per second on a server using Chroma Hills, so that's one of the positives of 1.5.2. They've improved some of the texture pack stuff, but mainly 1.5.2 was just a couple of bug fixes that I addressed before, like wolves and cats despawning, and then they were adding a lot of Minecraft Realms stuff, which still isn't out yet. But anyways, so yeah, maybe hold off on 1.5.2, and a lot of cool stuff coming in 1.6, as we can see. They were mainly focusing on the launcher this week, so not too many things, but they are cool. We got the coal block, we got some recipes, and nether fortresses are going to be more interesting to explore and all that stuff. So thank you for listening to my rambling. If you've made it this far, leave a like if you enjoyed this, and I will see you again for more Minecraft. Thanks for watching, guys. Goodbye.